Men, I want to talk to you about something that's often whispered about or even joked about, but rarely discussed with the seriousness it deserves. We're going to talk about sex, not just the physical act, but what it means for your health, your mind, your marriage, and your very sense of self. I've spent the last 5 years specializing in the health and vitality of men over 50, and I've seen countless cases where a decline in intimacy isn't just a sign of aging, it's a ticking time bomb for overall wellness. Maybe you feel the energy dipping, maybe the frequency has dropped off, and you're starting to feel less like the man you used to be. You look at your partner, and while you love her dearly, there's a distance, a feeling that your fundamental needs aren't just unmet, but perhaps even misunderstood. You might be wondering, is this normal? Am I being unreasonable? The answer is a resounding no. Your desire, your need for sexual connection, is not some juvenile whim. It is a cornerstone of your physical and emotional health, and understanding why is the first step toward reclaiming your vitality. Stick with me. By the end of this video, you'll see why having a healthy sex life is non-negotiable for the man who wants to stay sharp, strong, and deeply connected. Quick request, because it helps this vital message reach other men who need it. Hit that like button right now. And tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? It helps me know who I'm speaking to. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our deep dives into men's health. There's a pervasive and frankly damaging myth that for men, sex is purely a physical release, a basic primal need. Our society often frames it this way, and sometimes even our partners believe it. They might think we're just focused on the act itself. The truth is far more complex and profound. For the vast majority of men, sexual intimacy is the primary way they feel loved, respected, and affirmed in their role as a husband and a partner. It's a language of connection that often transcends words. When you engage in intimacy, your body isn't just having fun, it's running a vital chemical process. Biologically, you get a surge of dopamine, the pleasure and reward chemical, which fights off depression and apathy. Crucially, your body produces and circulates testosterone, the hormone essential for energy, muscle mass, bone density, and mental focus. Post-orgasm, there is a flood of oxytocin, the bonding or cuddle hormone. While women are often credited with the oxytocin love connection, men need this just as much to feel deeply bonded and safe with their partner. Emotionally, when you are connecting sexually, you are receiving a powerful, nonverbal validation of your masculinity, your attractiveness, and your importance to your wife. It's an antidote to the stress and pressure of providing and protecting. When it's absent or treated as a chore, it communicates the opposite, rejection or worse, unimportance. Practically, think about your day-to-day. A man who feels desired and connected walks taller. He handles work stress better. He's more patient with the kids. He's more engaged in the mundane tasks of life because the foundational well of his security and happiness has been replenished. This is why, historically, men in relationships often prioritize intimacy higher than women do. It's not because men are Neanderthals. It's because it's a crucial mechanism for their emotional regulation and relational security. We have to stop treating this fundamental human need as a weapon or an option. It is a necessity for a healthy marriage and a healthy man. As a doctor who is focused on men's health, I've seen firsthand what happens when this need is chronically unmet. I'm not just reading from a textbook, I'm telling you what men like you have shared with me across the examination table. In my experience, issues around sex are almost never just about the bedroom. They manifest as physical ailments, unexplained fatigue, high blood pressure, increased anxiety, and even weakened immune systems. The body internalizes that stress of rejection and disconnection. I want to share a key truth I've learned from over 5 years of counseling couples. The health of your marriage is the health of your sex life, and the health of your sex life is the health of your marriage. It's a feedback loop. When it's good, everything is easier. When it's absent, everything else becomes a struggle. I've watched men who were on the verge of giving up find a new lease on life, confidence, and energy simply by addressing the sexual health and intimacy of their relationship. The change is often profound. It brings comfort, freedom, and a renewed sense of confidence. Now, Let's talk about the specific pitfalls. It's easy to blame the partner, but as men, we often contribute to the problem without realizing it. We build up walls, we make assumptions, or we fail to communicate our needs in a loving way. Here are the 5 most common mistakes that sabotage the intimacy you desperately crave. Treating sex as a transaction or an entitlement. The mistake. You ask, she says no, and you immediately withdraw, sulk, or get passively aggressive. You treat intimacy as the end of the list reward for being a good husband. This frames the whole interaction as an exchange. Biologically, this attitude releases stress hormones like cortisol in both partners. For her, it turns what should be a release of oxytocin into an event tainted by pressure. For you, it reinforces a feeling of failure and frustration, leading to a drop in healthy hormonal balance. Emotionally, it completely misses the point that intimacy is about connection. It makes her feel used and forces her into a defensive posture. It steals her desire and replaces it with resentment. Practically, your wife learns that connecting with you leads to pressure, so she instinctively starts keeping you at a distance. Less hand-holding, less casual touch, less time alone. The wall gets higher. This next mistake is the absolute worst for your testosterone levels. Can you guess what it is? Keep watching. Failing to maintain your side of the sexual wellness fence. The mistake. You expect the fire to burn bright while you neglect your physical health. You've let your diet slide, you're not exercising, you've gained weight, or you're over-reliant on prescription medications without addressing lifestyle. Biologically, excess body fat, especially around the abdomen, increases an enzyme called aromatase, which converts good testosterone into estrogen. High blood sugar and lack of exercise diminish blood flow, a non-starter for sexual function. You can't expect your engine to run if you're pouring sludge in the tank. Emotionally, neglecting your health sends a silent but clear message to your partner. I don't value my health or our sexual connection enough to put in the work. This erodes their attraction and respect. Practically, this leads to performance issues, which then lead to performance anxiety, which becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, shutting down desire for both of you. The third mistake is so simple, yet it's the number one complaint I hear from wives. It happens outside of the bedroom. The duty trap, focusing on technique over tenderness. The mistake, you view sex only through the lens of orgasm and completion, forgetting that for most women, intimacy begins hours, sometimes days before the actual event. You don't prioritize emotional closeness or non-sexual touch. Biologically, remember that bonding hormone, oxytocin? It's released through simple touch, a hug, holding hands, sitting close. If the only time you initiate physical touch is with the clear intent of escalating to sex, her body learns to resist all your touches. No oxytocin pregame means a much colder starting line. Emotionally, it makes your wife feel like a machine, like you only care about her body when it serves your purpose. This shatters the feeling of being cherished and valued as a whole person, which is the emotional foundation for female desire. Practically, she gets frustrated that you don't talk or listen or help, but suddenly you're interested in her body. This fuels the toxic chore mentality that both men and women resent. This next mistake turns the most secure man into a terrified, closed-off shell. It's about how we react to the word no. Internalizing rejection as a complete failure of manhood. The mistake. When your wife says no, for whatever reason, tiredness, headache, stress, you immediately process it as, I am not man enough. I am not attractive. She doesn't love me. This reaction causes you to shut down. Biologically, when you internalize the no, your fight or flight system kicks in. You dump a massive dose of cortisol into your system, which completely nullifies the desire for the very connection you're craving. This emotional pain can lead to an all or nothing response, either explosive anger or complete frigid withdrawal. Emotionally, your defensive shutdown prevents you from seeing your wife's no as potentially her issue, stress, work, period, etc., and not a referendum on you. You miss the opportunity to offer her comfort, which is the most attractive thing a man can do. Practically, your withdrawal teaches her that she can't be honest with you about her feelings or energy levels without causing a major relationship freeze-out. This pushes her further away and makes her even less likely to say yes next time. The number one mistake is the most important one. It's what I call the silent vow breaker. Giving up hope and allowing the wall of silence to stand. The mistake. You stop initiating. You stop talking about it. You resign yourself to a sexless marriage, believing this is just what happens when you get older. You accept the cold comfort of the spare room. Biologically, when you completely cease sexual activity, your body starts to conserve resources. Testosterone levels drop further. Blood flow and nerve pathways that aren't used begin to atrophy. Your body literally begins to break down the machinery of vitality because it believes it's no longer needed. Use it or lose it isn't a myth, it's a biological law. Emotionally, this is the ultimate loss of hope and dignity. You are essentially telling your partner and yourself that a core, vital part of your identity is dead. This resignation is a major contributor to late-life depression, feelings of emasculation, and a profound sense of isolation, even while lying next to your wife. Practically, you cannot have a fully healthy, connected, and thriving relationship from a place of silent resignation. It breeds contempt, distance, and a deep, gnawing sadness. Intimacy is not an option. It is a commitment made in your vows. You have the responsibility to pursue health and connection. So, how do we turn this around? This isn't about blaming, it's about building. Here are 3 practical steps you can take starting today to begin healing the wounds and rebuilding the bridge of connection. The communication reset, own your need, validate her world. The plan. Sit down with your wife, not in the bedroom, but over coffee, and communicate your needs without accusation or shame. What to say, softly. Honey, I've been doing some thinking, and I realize how important our physical connection is to my sense of well-being, my energy, and how close I feel to you. When we're intimate, I feel incredibly loved and respected. I realize I haven't always communicated this well, and I'm sorry for any pressure I've put on you. Can we talk about what a healthy, fulfilling connection looks like for both of us? The goal: you are owning your need, vulnerability, while making space for her feelings, validation. This is the key to dissolving the resentment wall. The out-of-body focus, prioritize non-sexual touch. The plan: for the next 7 days, commit to an absolute minimum of 10 minutes of non-sexual touch every single day. What to do: give her a 5-minute foot rub with no expectation of escalation. Sit shoulder to shoulder on the couch, hold her hand in the car, hug her for a full 30 seconds when you get home. The biological impact: remember that oxytocin? This non-sexual touch is the slow, steady drip that lowers her defensive walls and rewires her brain to associate your touch with safety, comfort, and love, not just pressure. This is the essential precursor to desire. The health first commitment: become the desired man. The plan: you cannot outsource your vitality. Take action on your physical health, which directly impacts your hormones and confidence. What to commit to: if you haven't, get a full physical and blood work done, specifically checking your testosterone and vitamin D levels. Commit to 30 minutes of strength training, even body weight exercises, 3 times a week. This boosts natural testosterone production and improves your blood flow, which is essential everywhere. The emotional, practical impact: you will feel better, look better, and have more energy. This renewed confidence is the most powerful aphrodisiac you can offer. You are not just asking for intimacy. You are becoming a more vibrant, healthy partner to share it with. Men, please hear this from a doctor who genuinely cares about your whole health. Your desire is valid. Your need to feel connected and desired is part of your design. Do not let the silence, the societal jokes, or the long nights lead you to believe you are wrong or broken for needing this. You are not a beast. You are a man, a son, a husband, a father who thrives on connection. When you connect, you feel whole, and that wholeness allows you to be a better man in every other area of your life. If the intimacy in your marriage has become a source of pain or obligation, it is a sign that something needs to be healed, not something that needs to be accepted. You deserve comfort, freedom, and a relationship full of confidence and joy. Age is not the end of your vitality. It is a new starting line. Small, courageous changes, a simple conversation, consistent non-sexual touch, a commitment to your health can bring back the fire, the connection, and the deep satisfaction that makes life worth living. You have the power to heal this, to change this, and to lead with love and vulnerability. So I want you to make a commitment right now. Tell me in the comments one of the 3 action steps you are going to take this week. I read every comment, and I want to hear your promise to yourself. If this video helped you feel seen, understood, and motivated, please give it a like, share it with a friend who needs to hear this message, and subscribe to join our community of men committed to a life of health and high vitality. Go out there and start building the connection you deserve. I'm Dr. Jocelyn, and I'll see you in the next video.